The world hour record is cycling's purest test of endurance. A rider is placed on a banked track alone, tasked with sustaining the highest possible steady-state power output for exactly 60 minutes, without drafting, pacing variability, or tactical recovery. This effort is dictated by the athlete's maximal lactate steady state, or MLSS, the highest exercise intensity at which lactate production and clearance are balanced. In elite endurance athletes, this red line typically occurs at 80 to 90% of their maximal oxygen uptake. In 2022, elite master cyclist Peter Megdal pushed this red line further than any human his age. At 65 years old, Megdal set the M60 to 64 world hour record, covering 47.430 kilometers in a single hour. The achievement is made more significant by Megdal's medical history. He set this record after being diagnosed with severe obstructive coronary artery disease and undergoing a procedure to place a stent in his heart. Megdal's performance challenges the clinical assumption that severe cardiovascular disease must dictate a lower functional ceiling for the remainder of a patient's life. Conventional physiological models predict a linear decline in human performance, starting in early adulthood. As cellular senescence accumulates, the cardiovascular, pulmonary, and skeletal muscle systems are assumed to undergo steady deterioration. For masters athletes, these declines are often attributed to structural changes, specifically a reduced stroke volume, the amount of blood the heart pumps per beat, and a declining maximum heart rate. Megdal's hour record provides a rare, highly controlled dataset that contradicts this accepted narrative of inevitable decay. The case suggests that what is widely classified as a biological age ceiling is frequently a disease-mediated limitation. Cardiovascular restrictions often constrain physical potential long before clinical symptoms appear. If age-related decline is driven by the accumulation of vascular disease rather than a biological clock, the aging process can be systematically managed and decoupled from chronological time. The record attempt took place at the Bicentenario Velodrome in Aguascalientes, Mexico. At 1,887 meters above sea level, the track's geography creates a specific set of physical trade-offs. At this elevation, oxygen availability is reduced, causing an athlete's VO₂ max to decline by 6 to 9%. However, lower air density reduces aerodynamic drag by 12 to 18%, tipping the scale to offer a net mechanical advantage. Achieving a world record here requires a precise calculation, balancing speed gains against the reduction in aerobic capacity. To maintain a speed of 47.43 kilometers per hour with a competitive aerodynamic profile, a rider must overcome rolling resistance and drag by generating a continuous 260 to 280 watts. Megdal sustained an average of approximately 275 watts. This effort was further complicated by the velodrome's 42-degree banking, which imposes severe musculoskeletal and core stabilization demands during a 60-minute ride. Maintaining 275 watts proves Megdal's biological engine operated at 78 to 85% of its maximal capacity for the duration of the hour. We can contextualize this sustained hour of effort by looking at Megdal's 5-minute maximal power. He is capable of producing 350 watts at a body mass of 70 kilograms, a ratio of 5.0 watts per kilogram. According to metabolic equations from the American College of Sports Medicine, this corresponds to Megdal's clinically measured VO₂ max of 65. Compared to norms, a healthy 60-year-old male produces 2.5 watts per kilogram. The top 1% of masters average a VO₂ max of 50. At 5.0 watts per kilogram and a 65 VO₂ max, Megdal's physiology is indistinguishable from a highly trained 20-year-old amateur. Megdal's engine functions with the efficiency of an athlete half his age. To understand how he achieved this, we have to examine how his cardiovascular system was rebuilt. In 2014, Megdal was diagnosed with severe obstructive coronary artery disease, including a critical lesion in his left anterior descending artery. While coronary stenting addressed the immediate risk of mortality, the procedure alone could not restore his elite performance capacity. This flowchart illustrates Megdal's aggressive intervention. The first phase involved a whole food plant-based diet and high-volume training.
The second introduced a PCSK9 inhibitor, a pharmaceutical used to radically suppress bad cholesterol in the bloodstream. Driving LDL cholesterol down to approximately 40 milligrams per deciliter promotes plaque stabilization and modest regression. As the arterial walls stabilize, blood flow becomes less turbulent, improving deep coronary perfusion and oxygen delivery to the heart. This protocol resulted in a 20% increase in Megdal's VO₂ Max, moving his aerobic ceiling from roughly 56 up to 65 milliliters per kilogram per minute. By treating the vascular disease aggressively, rather than accepting reduced capacity as a consequence of aging, Megdal removed the physiological ceiling suppressing his heart. This graph maps VO₂ Max over a lifespan. Sedentary adults drop 10% per decade after age 30, the red line. Elite athletes reduce this decline to 5%, the blue line. Megdal's VO₂ Max of 65 places him perfectly on this elite curve. Extrapolating backward, his youthful peak was 83.3, matching world-class endurance athletes. These results are supported by epigenetic models like DNAM FitAge, which incorporate physical fitness to demonstrate that high cardiorespiratory health is associated with a younger biological age. Megdal has created a massive functional reserve. While normal activities of daily living require only 12 to 15 milliliters of oxygen uptake, his capacity remains far above the threshold for physical limitation. The M60 to 64-hour record serves as clinical evidence that the aging heart is not on a fixed timetable. With sustained training and aggressive medical management, the functional limits of human endurance can be substantially extended.